What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today is July 8th and I haven't made a video since the holiday. I was gone for the holiday and crypto has had a very tough past month, not just for Bitcoin, especially the altcoins. In this video, we're going to be touching on both sides of the market there. It's a little bit of a mixed bag over the past 24 hours. And if you look at the past month, most assets are down heavily. Though in the past hour, the left column, you can see just about everything is in the green. So we're starting to see at least a little bit of something in the short term, a little bit of relief from the straight downside pressure. Now, flipping over to the Bitcoin daily chart, looking at Kraken Pro, we can see that Bitcoin did find a slightly lower low over the past few days. This was during the holiday, during 4th of July, if you're in the US, and this caused a tremendous amount of fear. I haven't seen fear that high for a very long time. And when fear is at its highest level, that is usually the best buy opportunity. Now, a lot of people aren't going to want to hear that, but that was the same thing that happened at the bottom of the bear market after FTX collapsed and prices came down quickly. People were the most bearish. We had record retail bearish speculation on Wall Street and in crypto, record levels, and it was the bottom. So whenever you see fear that high, you should basically be looking in the mirror. When people are most angry and most upset, and when market sentiment is at its worst point, that is because the masses are least invested. Right? People have sold out of the market and given up. So sentiment is going to be not so good down there, but that's the best buy opportunity. What I like about what I'm seeing here is that Bitcoin is in a long-term uptrend, right? Still higher lows on the macro scale. We do have a slightly lower low, but generally from our last major low after the ETF approval, this is still a higher low. And if you mark a horizontal line on our support that we recently found right here, we are finding support within the previous all-time high range. And so it's not too bad for Bitcoin, right? Altcoins is a different story. But what I like about this is that we're getting so much fear and so much anger and negative sentiment while we're sitting in the mid 50,000 range. Right? I mean, that is a pretty good sign. And a lot of people seem to forget that the picture can change. That type of change in direction is, much more possible than people think. The reason why people are upset right now is because we are basically just going sideways and down. And if you remember this range from March to October of 2023, from March to October, there was basically nothing going on. We were going sideways and sentiment was very, very, I guess you could say like bored. But people were upset about the fact that every time we dipped, they thought it was over. And that consolidation was more or less about 30 weeks. And if you look at where we are now, we're currently sitting at 19 weeks, 18 weeks. So it's not much different than what we've seen just in 2023. Impulse up, sideways consolidation. A lot of people give up at that point, and then impulse up, sideways consolidation. A lot of people give up at this point, impulse up. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. And right now, Bitcoin is finding support on our weekly and our daily candles. And if you look at the daily chart, going back to Kraken Pro, the MACD is showing bullish divergence. We have higher lows on the MACD histogram. Just like in April going into May, we had lower lows in price, higher lows on the MACD histograms, and that led to a cross up. Of course, we got a slightly lower high, pull back. But we have lower lows and higher lows on the histogram. That is bullish divergence. Also on the RSI, lower lows on price, higher lows on the RSI. That is bullish divergence on two major indicators. And this is coming in right as fear is at its highest level, which is, it's always funny how that plays out. We get our bullish signals right when people start giving up. So I think that we probably found the low and we're likely going to bounce from here and start some kind of sideways recovery and then eventually break into a new all-time high. It could take months for us to fully complete that. But I think it's quite clear that the bulls have the momentum in the long term. In the long term, guys, bulls, it's still bullish. The bias here on a macro scale is still bullish, right? The halving just happened. It's almost never a good idea to be a full-blown bear during right around the halving period. And also, if you take a look at the daily RSI and you take a look at the price of Bitcoin, every time the RSI reaches this oversold level on the daily, we don't spend too much time there. Actually, I posted this chart yesterday on Twitter, and you can see that every time we hit that oversold level on the daily, it takes, sometimes it's a month, sometimes it's multiple months. but usually that leads into some kind of breakout. 72 days, 8 days, 65 days, 20 days, and we've done it just now. So the point is, when you reach the oversold level, you're usually at or near the bottom. Right, we did get a slightly lower low after hitting oversold, but this lower low that we got right here was met with bullish divergence on the RSI. So I am looking for a bounce here. I do think that we're going to see a recovery from this point. I also think that the altcoins are so oversold, like to a level that people are in so much pain. To me, it just seems like a no-brainer, right? If you're going to be somebody, especially if you're someone just entering this market right now, I mean, you're very, very lucky to be getting these conditions, such major discounts. The total 3, the altcoin market cap, is also still sitting in fairly the same setup as the last cycle. We are getting a little bit more of a pullback than the previous consolidation, but it's the same timing and the same general structure as the past cycle. We have a peak, a lower high, dump into an accumulation range, break the resistance, consolidation, and then break out into a major alt season. We have a market peak, a lower high, dump into an accumulation range, break the resistance, consolidation, and then eventually probably looking for a major alt season. Could take months to get there. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but the general timing is also the same. From peak to break of lower high, that was 158 weeks. And from peak to where we are now, it's 139. Give it a couple months, a few months, and you may actually see a major push back up. I mean, this was a pretty nasty pullback. The altcoins have retraced back to the beginning of the year levels. Again, this is the total 3, the altcoin market cap. We've given up the entire year so far, and that is a healthy, and also a very painful retrace, right? But I think that we are going to be looking to continue the general uptrend, right? Because it's still way up from the October 2023 lows. Personally, I have enough reasons to remain bullish on this market. I am accumulating altcoins right now. The discount is just unbelievable. And if you believe in this market, if you believe in the future of crypto, now is the time to take advantage of what's going on in those sectors. Right after a major pullback for crypto, global liquidity is ticking up. I think it's probably a good area to be accumulating, adding on this dip, adding when everyone's scared, when everyone's fearful. It's not easy to make a ton of money on crypto. You have to get through these moments and maintain conviction in your research and what you're buying, right? So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash a like, subscribe. Be sure to join the Patreon using that link below to see what altcoins I'm trading, buying, and also sign up for Kraken Pro. And I'll see you guys in the next video.